All right. Think and Grow Rich. Right. A classic, wouldn't you say? Kind of legendary.
Yeah, definitely.
But let's be real. I feel like a lot of people see it as like this get rich quick kind of thing.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense given the title.
Exactly. But that's not what we're doing today, right?
Yeah.
We're here to like unlock your potential in any pursuit, not just about the money.
Absolutely. And what's cool is that while Hill focuses on financial success, his insights into belief, desire, the subconscious mind, it's like relevant for any goal, really.
Okay, so it's like a toolbox for your mind, not your wallet.
Yeah, exactly. And to really see the power of these tools, he tells this wild story about R.U. Darby's uncle.
Oh, the gold mine story.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's a wild ride. Okay. So Darby's uncle, right, he catches gold fever, convinced there's a fortune in these hills.
Classic.
Right, pours everything into this mine, like everything, time, money.
Oh.
And then get this, he gives up digging just 3 feet from striking a massive vein of gold.
Oh, it's tragic. And it really highlights how, success often hinges on pushing past those moments when you just want to give up.
It's like, what is it? It's always darkest before the dawn.
Yeah.
This story, man, it's like the perfect example of Hill's concept of like burning desire.
Yeah, because it's not enough to just want something. You have to have that unshakable resolve to get it no matter what.
No matter the obstacles. It's like, how many times have you wanted to like start that project, but you keep putting it off?
Yeah.
He's saying, just do it.
Yeah. And a perfect example of this, unwavering action is Henry Ford.
Right. The automobile legend. I mean, the guy had over 10,000 failed attempts before he got it right.
Ford is the epitome of the dreamer who never quits. For Hill.
Because true dreamers, they don't just dream, they do.
Yeah.
They take action.
They take action, they learn, they keep going. But even more importantly, Hill argues they understand the power of their own mind.
And that brings us to one of the most intriguing parts of this book, right? This idea that thoughts are things, which I've got to admit, the first time I read that, I was like, what? Is this manifest your millions kind of thing?
Right. It's easy to misinterpret that. But Hill's not talking about, magic. He's talking about belief, the power of belief. He argues that our subconscious mind doesn't actually distinguish between what we believe and what's objectively true, right?
So if you believe you can achieve something,
it starts working to make it happen.
Wow. Okay. How does that work, though?
So he uses this really powerful personal story to kind of illustrate this point. He talks about his son, Blair, who was born deaf.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he refused to accept that as a limitation.
Wow.
He believed that by instilling this belief in Blair that he could hear, it would become his reality.
And it worked.
It did. And, through unwavering belief and some pretty creative methods, Hill actually helped his son live this incredibly full life. Like Blair, he went on to accomplish incredible things, demonstrating that sometimes the only limits we have are the ones, we set in our own minds.
Those mental limits, they can be tough to break. What about those doubts, those fears? How do we deal with those?
That's where his idea of the 6 ghosts of fear comes into play.
Oh, yeah.
These are the fears that he believes hold us back from our full potential.
Fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, death. Yeah, that's heavy stuff.
It is. He argues they can be totally paralyzing, keep us in our comfort zones, right? Keep us from even trying.
For me, and I feel like this is very relevant today, but the fear of criticism is social media, everyone's a critic.
Oh, it's true. It can be suffocating.
Yeah, it stops people from sharing their ideas, pursuing their passions, putting themselves out there.
Exactly. And Hill recognized this as a major roadblock to any kind of achievement.
So how do we combat these ghosts? What are the tools?
Well, he gives a few strategies, but one of the most compelling, and I think one that's super relevant today, is this idea of the mastermind.
The mastermind, yeah. Surrounding yourself with a group of like-minded people, right?
Yeah.
It's like having your own personal board of advisors.
Totally. It's about finding people who share your vision, right?
Exactly.
And they're committed to your growth.
And it's amazing how relevant that is today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Online communities, mastermind groups.
Totally. He understood the power of collaboration, shared knowledge, but he also delved into some more, shall we say, provocative ideas.
Yeah, you're talking about sex transmutation.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I was a little hesitant to unpack that one. It's a bit of a loaded term, you know?
It is. And while Hill's views on the topic were very much of his time, I think there's a valuable lesson we can still take away without, getting too bogged down in the specifics.
Okay, what's the core idea there?
It's about harnessing your desires, right? Like really strong desires, and redirecting that energy towards something productive.
So not suppressing desire, but channeling it.
Exactly.
And this could apply to any strong desire, not just,
Exactly. I mean, think about an athlete, right? Training for the Olympics, an artist pouring their heart into a painting, an entrepreneur working tirelessly. It's all tapping into this like intense, like wellspring of motivation.
That makes sense. It's about understanding those internal drivers.
Yeah.
And finding healthy ways to express them.
Exactly. And that's really what he's getting at, right? It's about utilizing every aspect of ourselves, even those like deepest desires, to fuel our growth and our achievements.
So we've talked about like harnessing desire, but how do we actually turn those desires into, results, tangible things? That's the real question.
Right. And he'll believe that simply wishing for a better life just wasn't enough.
Of course not.
You have to have a plan. He actually provides this whole framework, for turning desire into action, and it all starts with clarity.
Okay, so no more like vague daydreams. We got to get specific.
Exactly. Hill was a huge proponent of what he called definiteness of purpose.
Right.
He actually outlines 6 steps to translate desire into tangible results.
Right.
It's like a roadmap.
Ooh, I love a good roadmap. Let's break it down. What's step 1?
Okay, so step 1, fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire.
Okay.
And he means like the actual number.
Oh, wow.
Not just a lot of money.
So you're telling me I need to name my number? That feels kind of bold.
It might feel a little bold, but there's power in specificity. Think about it. How can you achieve a goal if you don't even know what you're aiming for?
That's true. Okay, that's a really good point. Okay, so I've named my number. What's next?
All right, so step 2 is crucial. And honestly, it's often overlooked. He says we need to determine exactly what we intend to give in return for the money we desire.
Because there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Exactly. Hill emphasizes that wealth, it's an exchange of value, right? You have to bring something to the table.
You got to provide value. Okay, so we've got our goal, our plan to provide value. What's step 3?
Step 3, establish a definite date by which you intend to possess the money.
Ah, so a timeline.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Creates that sense of urgency, keeps you accountable.
Exactly. And step 4 kind of builds on this momentum. He says, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not, to put this plan into action.
I love that. No more procrastination. Just start, even if it's not perfect,
Yeah, he was all about momentum. Just get going. Don't wait for the perfect moment.
Such a good reminder. Okay, what about the final 2 steps?
All right, step 5 is all about solidifying your commitment. He says to write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, the time limit for its acquisition, what you intend to give in return for the money, and the plan through which you intend to accumulate it.
So putting it all down on paper, like a tangible declaration.
Precisely, yeah. And the final step, step 6, might seem a little out there, but Hill was a big believer in the power of the subconscious mind.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So step 6 is to read your written statement aloud twice daily.
Oh, wow.
Once just before retiring at night and once after arising in the morning.
Okay.
And as you read, you see, feel, and believe yourself already in possession of the money.
So visualization, affirmation, basically.
Exactly. He's tapping into autosuggestion.
Right.
He believed that by repeatedly visualizing your desired outcome and affirming it as if it were already true, you could reprogram your subconscious to make it a reality.
That's powerful. And it all ties back to that burning desire.
Absolutely. These 6 steps, they're designed to intensify that desire, make it a driving force in your life.
I'm seeing how it all comes together now. But
Yeah.
I have to ask, these steps are very specifically focused on financial wealth. Can we apply these principles to other goals?
Oh, absolutely. That's the beauty of Hill's work. It's a framework that can be applied to any goal.
Okay.
It's not just about the money, right? It's about understanding these mechanics of desire, belief, and action.
So it's like a mental model for success.
Exactly. And one of the most important tools in this mental model is something that Hill called autosuggestion.
Okay, we touched on that a bit, but I'd love to dive deeper. What exactly is autosuggestion, and how can we, use it?
Okay, so autosuggestion, we can reprogram our subconscious minds just by saying stuff, repeating affirmations.
Exactly. Think of it like planting seeds, right?
Okay.
You're planting seeds in the garden of your mind. So by consistently, feeding your subconscious these positive thoughts, those empowering thoughts, you're creating fertile ground for growth and achievement.
And Hill even provides like a self-confidence formula in the book.
He does. He suggests like crafting a statement that affirms your belief in your own abilities and repeating it every single day, like a mantra.
So it's not just thinking positive, but it's like replacing those limiting beliefs. Yeah, you're rewiring those deeply ingrained thought patterns so that they align with the outcomes you want, you know? And he has this great example. He says, first, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment. And I here and now promise to render such action. I mean, just imagine repeating something like that consistently. How powerful could that be?
Yeah. It's like you're training your mind to focus on what you want, not what you're afraid of.
Exactly. Hill argued that this kind of mental shift, it's essential for overcoming doubt and cultivating that unshakable self-belief you need to succeed. But he also acknowledges that we're going to have negative thoughts.
Of course.
They're going to pop up.
So how do we deal with those?
Yeah.
How do we keep those from like derailing us?
So Hill compares the mind to a garden, right?
Yeah.
He says, the human mind is constantly attracting vibrations which harmonize with that which dominates the mind. So if you let these negative thoughts, these negative thought patterns take root, they'll choke out, you know, the seeds of your dreams, essentially.
You got to be like vigilant gardeners plucking out those weeds.
Exactly. Hill was all about like actively cultivating this positive mental environment. He says, a mind dominated by positive emotions becomes a favorable abode for the state of mind known as faith. A mind so dominated may, at will, give the subconscious mind instructions which it will accept and act upon immediately.
Wow. Okay. So it's not just wishful thinking. It's like actively shaping our thoughts and beliefs.
Exactly. And he reminds us that success is, you know, rarely a solo thing. We talked about this idea of the mastermind before.
Right.
But he goes even deeper into this idea that you need to surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah. Remind me, what are the like key elements of a good mastermind group?
Well, I think first and foremost, you need to choose people who get your vision right. People who are committed to your growth, not just, you know, random people. You want people who inspire you, who challenge you, people who hold you accountable.
So it's like quality over quantity for sure. And diversity too, right? Different perspectives.
Absolutely. You want that variety of skills, experiences, perspectives. That's where the real magic happens.
Right. And Hill emphasizes regular meetings, open communication, being honest, that kind of thing.
He does. It's about creating this space, this supportive, inspiring environment where everyone can thrive. And through that collaborative effort, Hill believed that you could achieve so much more than you ever could on your own.
And I mean, think about it. So many of these principles, we see them in the world today.
Yeah.
The online communities, the mastermind groups, the collaborative workspaces. It's like Hill was tapping into something like fundamental about human nature, you know?
He really did. But collaboration isn't everything, right? He also stresses specialized knowledge.
Yeah, okay. What's the deal with specialized knowledge? Why is it so important?
Hill argues that general knowledge is important, but it's specialized knowledge that unlocks opportunities. It sets you apart. Think about it in your own field. Like, what kind of expertise would give you an edge?
Right. It's not enough to be good at a lot of things. You need to be great at something.
Exactly. It could be mastering a new skill, diving into a niche topic, or even just connecting with a mentor who can share their, you know, hard-earned wisdom. Hill was a huge advocate for lifelong learning.
It makes me think about all those times I felt intimidated by learning something new. It's like this huge mountain to climb.
Totally. But Hill's point is that it doesn't have to be a drag. It can be exciting, you know, a journey. And often those like unexpected detours lead to the best discoveries.
Yeah, totally. And it's not just about the knowledge itself, but what you do with it.
100%. Hill believed in organized effort. It's not enough to just be smart. You got to use it. Use that knowledge to solve problems, to create, you know, real value, to make an impact.
Action, right? Put those ideas into practice.
Exactly. And finally, Hill reminds us that like true success, it's not just about external goals.
Right.
It's about who you become along the way, cultivating those qualities that lead to a fulfilling life.
This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Think and Grow Rich, written, what, like almost 100 years ago? And it's still so relevant.
Right.
Like everything we've talked about, it still applies.
Yeah. Hill reminds us that success, it's not about luck.
Yeah.
It's not about circumstances. It's about understanding the power we all have inside us.
And I love that he gives us tools, strategies, things we can actually try.
Exactly. He challenges us to become active participants in our own growth,
Yeah.
to embrace the power of our thoughts, beliefs, actions.
So as we wrap up, here's a little challenge. Choose just one principle, just one thing that resonated with you from Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
And commit to applying it to a real goal in your life. Experiment. See what happens.
See what happens. Because reading about it is one thing. It's putting it into action that makes all the difference.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. We hope you found it insightful, inspiring.
Yeah, empowering.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, keep those desires burning.